Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and through you to the members. I rise today in support of H. 4554, the Crown Act, sponsored by my dear friends from Roxbury and from Malden. Your leadership has been essential to raise the prominence of this issue, to share crucial stories from the many people who have experienced hair discrimination. I would also like to thank the gentlemen from Stoneham and from the North End, and to their diligent staff for their hard work perfecting this bill's language. And finally, I would like to applaud the Speaker for your leadership, attention to this matter, and urgency in bringing this to the floor. And that urgency is well placed, because the discrimination that would be prohibited by this legislation is real, it is pervasive, and it is damaging. This bill would protect culturally significant Black hairstyles and ensure that discrimination because of one of these natural or protective hairstyles is prohibited. This legislation makes clear that Massachusetts schools, employers, landlords, public accommodations cannot discriminate against someone for wearing braids, locs, twists, Bantu knots, or other similar hairstyles. Not only will this policy change stop racial discrimination from occurring, but this protection will permeate our culture and shape professional norms to include Black hair. I have personally felt the existing bias against Black hair in my professional life. When I was a public defender with CPCS, every time that I would litigate in court, I would arrange to have my hair straightened. I knew that if I did not, that I risked being discriminated against by the jury, a court officer, the opposing counsel, or even the judge. Unfortunately, this experience is common for Black women. 80% of Black women, like myself, have felt the need to change their natural hair to fit in with workplace standards. And that risk of discrimination is also real, with 63.5% of people displaying implicit bias against textured natural hair. This imposes costs on Black women, damages our hair, takes up precious time, and forces conformity with expectations that are antiquated and discriminatory. Even Black men experience this discrimination. My brother-in-law, who owns an IT company, was offered a consulting job only on the condition of cutting his locks. He refused, and those economic losses are real. We need to protect Black men and women legally against this discrimination and change the norms of professionalism to include all natural hair. In addition to the moving stories you'll hear today, there are countless people around our country who have experienced this, and so many have bravely shared their stories publicly. A girl who was sent home from class over her extensions, a softball player who was forced to cut her braids in order to play, a school that is trying to not let a student graduate over his locks, and even an elementary school labeling common Black hairstyles as inappropriate. And one pattern from these stories that really troubles me is the sheer number of these experiences that are being shared by young people. We are instilling our biases in the next generation, who are growing up being told that Black hair is not acceptable. It is time to make clear that we in Massachusetts stand against that, and that Black hair is acceptable, is professional, and beautiful. So thank you again to everyone who sculpted and supported this bill, and to the many advocates and members of our communities who put yourselves out there and shared your experiences with all of us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair will be in a brief recess.